Welcome, everyone, to another deep dive into one of the most intriguing stories from the Bible. Today we're exploring the tale of Abigail and Nabal, a story of wisdom versus folly, humility versus arrogance, and how one woman's courage saved an entire household. But there's more to this story than meets the eye. What can we learn from Abigail's actions? And was Nabal simply a fool? Or is there more to his character than we've been led to believe? Stick around, and let's unravel this tale together. Abigail and Nabal's story is a fascinating narrative found in 1 Samuel 25. Set during the time when David was on the run from King Saul, this story brings us into the heart of a marriage fraught with tension. Abigail is described as intelligent and beautiful, while Nabal is depicted as surly and mean in his dealings. But what does this contrast between them reveal about their marriage? And what lessons can we glean from their interactions? Before we dive into the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content on biblical stories and their hidden lessons. So, what exactly happens in this story? David, soon to be king, sends his men to Nabal during the shearing season, a time traditionally associated with generosity. He asks for provisions, reminding Nabal of how David's men had protected Nabal's shepherds. But Nabal, true to his character, insults David's men and sends them away empty-handed. This enrages David, who then plans to destroy Nabal and his entire household. This could have been the end for Nabal, but it's Abigail who steps in with wisdom and grace. She quickly gathers provisions and goes out to meet David, delivering one of the most eloquent speeches in the Bible. Her actions not only save her household, but also stop David from committing a grave sin. But what does this story teach us about the dynamics of their marriage? And why does Abigail, the wife of such a man, stand out so distinctly in the narrative? Before we look further into the complexities of Abigail's wisdom and Nabal's folly, I'd like to invite you to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode where we uncover the deeper meanings behind biblical stories, challenge conventional interpretations, and explore how these ancient tales are still relevant today. Now let's talk about the controversy. Nabal is often portrayed as a fool, but was he really? Some scholars argue that his response to David was actually rooted in pride and a desire to assert his independence in a politically tumultuous time. Others suggest that his refusal was an act of defiance against David, whom he might have seen as a rebel against King Saul. Could Nabal's actions be seen in a different light, perhaps as a flawed but deliberate choice to protect his wealth and status? Or was he truly as foolish as the Bible describes? And what about Abigail? Was she merely a wise and dutiful wife? Or was there more to her motivations? Some interpretations suggest that Abigail may have been maneuvering for her own safety and future, aware of David's potential as the next king. Could it be that Abigail's actions were driven by both wisdom and self-preservation? These questions bring us to a broader discussion. What does this story say about the roles of men and women in marriage? Abigail's proactive approach contrasts sharply with Nabal's stubbornness. In a time when women had limited power, Abigail's actions are remarkable. She doesn't just save her household, she alters the course of her own life, eventually becoming David's wife after Nabal's sudden death. But what message does this send about marriage dynamics? Is it a lesson on the power of wisdom and humility in the face of arrogance? Or does it reflect the harsh realities of survival in a male-dominated society? And what can we today learn from Abigail's example? Is there a lesson here for navigating difficult relationships, or even for understanding the balance of power within a marriage. Let me ask you this. Was Nabal a victim of his own arrogance, or was there a deeper strategy behind his actions? And what would have happened if Abigail had not intervened? Could David's wrath have changed the course of his destiny? I want you to think about these questions, and before we conclude, type your thoughts in the comments below. I'll reveal my take on these questions at the end of the video. As we continue, let's consider the implications of Abigail's actions. By taking matters into her own hands, she not only prevents bloodshed, but also aligns herself with David's future reign. Was this a calculated move? And what does it tell us about the role of women in making pivotal decisions? Is there a hidden message here about the influence women can wield even in patriarchal societies? Think about this. If Abigail had acted differently, how might the story have ended? And more importantly, what can her story teach us about the balance of wisdom and action in our own lives? As we wrap up, it's clear that Abigail and Nabal's story is more than just a tale of wisdom versus folly. It's a story that challenges us to think deeply about the nature of marriage, the complexities of human character, and the power of individual agency. Abigail's actions remind us that wisdom often requires courage, and that sometimes the right path is the one that challenges the status quo. If you found this discussion thought-provoking, don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of biblical stories. And remember, your thoughts and comments are always welcome. Let's continue this conversation in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check out our store for related products. Until next time, stay curious, stay thoughtful, and keep exploring the rich and complex narratives that continue to inspire and challenge us.